how are you the solution? And so you can't offer a solution for a problem you don't understand yet. So make sure you pull out of them the real problem. Number 6, don't sell or pitch. When you share all about your company, you're really giving a sales pitch. Nobody cares about a sales pitch. What they're really looking for, the only time a sales pitch is important is if you're looking for funding. If you're on Shark Tank, or if you're on, I used to go to like this live Shark Tank that they used to do downtown Atlanta. I forgot the gentleman's name. Really cool guy, wrote an amazing book. And he did something called Shark Tanks every Friday night. So you had to show up to pitch your product. That's not what you're doing. The seller's home is not your product. You want to build a relationship. So what you're looking to do is continue to show them what makes you different. You will never close the deal if you don't learn to talk to them about what makes you different. So one of the things that you want to first do is talk about everything investors do that's similar. We all look for houses that there's enough room for us to make a profit so that we can wholesale it. Or there's enough room for us to repair it, and then after the repairs, the value is upgraded. Now, some people think, well, I've got 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, but if I put more flowers in the front yard, no, that doesn't change the value. Is there room in your house that I can put another bathroom? And now let me do that. You know, don't feel like you're losing $10,000 because you have 1 bathroom, so I've got to give you less money. Look at it like you've got this off your hands. It's better to take the bird in the hand than to keep going through the field trying to get another deal and another deal. Sometimes I even tell this story. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there was a gentleman, and he went into this field and he saw this perfect piece of corn, and he was going to take it, but then he said, you know what, I just got in this field. So if this piece of corn looks this great, let me go a little further. So he drops the corn he has, and then he goes a little further and he goes, well, this one looks even better than that one. Let me keep going. And he keeps going, and the next thing you know, he's no longer in the field. So he can't even get any more corn. Most people don't understand that stories make sellers change. And of course you want to know, like, okay, if I bought this property, if I put this property into contract and they want $150,000, I still need to put excuse me, $40,000 worth of repairs. Excuse me. So once I put $40,000 worth of repairs, then this house is now worth $200,000. But it may be worth $250,000. Nobody can set the value of a property. Even an appraiser's going to go by the exact same house within a mile that sold within the past 90 days. However, even with the appraiser, the only person that gives value to a property is the person willing to pay for it. I can take this phone and I could tell you I want to charge you $100,000 for it. You may say it's not worth it, but somebody else may say, you know what, for me it's worth it because of the content that I know you may have in your phone. I know you use that phone for the prayer call, so you might have some scriptures in there, and you may break down the scriptures in a way that's worth $100,000 to me. So nobody gives value to a product except the person willing to pay for the product. You're just guessing otherwise. There's no really written law that it's really worth this. And so that's what you want to learn to tell your sellers. And so if you practice these scripts and you practice walking into the property, feeling and telling yourself, I'm the expert here, I can solve your problems. I've closed other people and I'm definitely going to close you. You got to go in there. One of the things I used to love about Muhammad Ali, He used to say, I've won the fight before I got in the ring, because he played with your mind so much that he beat you before you got in the ring. You got to do that with your subconscious. You got to really just keep, talking to yourself, listening to motivational stuff. And don't just watch my trainings. I have videos on the YouTube channel. Watch them. The Wendy Lovejoy Real Estate Investor channel. There's so many videos on there that's going to help change your thinking, and definitely like the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page. There is a lot of trainings on the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page that you may have missed out. We have an album that has videos on it, and definitely once we do these live recordings, I have an assistant that takes them and breaks them down into like 20-30 minutes, because some of the trainings run 2 hours, so he breaks them down into part A, B, and C, or part 1, 2, and 3, so you get little bits and pieces of it. And definitely, if you have not watched the interview that I did with Shannon and why working with a real estate agent, you want to go watch that. And if you've not watched the one that I did with Anthony Williams on learning how to become a first-time home buyer, you want to go watch that, because it's going to help you with your buyers. So just to recap, you're not selling, you're not pitching. Practice your 30-second commercial that talks about who you are, who you help, and how you help them. So if your focus is expired listings, here's how your 30-second commercial could sound. Hi, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. I work with motivated sellers, people that have listed their homes in the past and their homes didn't sell. Well, normally when they list with me, I sell them within the first 90 days, and I sell them faster than the agent you had before, because I focus on marketing and I have a huge team. I am with XYZ Real Estate, and our company's known for marketing, and our company's been strong in whatever area you're in, and so we get more home sales sold. But even in my office, I'm one of the top producing agents, because I work one-on-one with my motivated sellers. And so that could be some of the things you put in your 30-second commercial. If you're working with foreclosures, then you'd say the same thing, but you'd say, listen, I really help a lot of people whose homes are in foreclosure, and I'm usually very strong at getting them a short sale or saving their credit, or getting the banks to accept less money. And I don't want to tell you all the ways I do it, but I just want to share with you that one of the things is that I'm a very strong negotiator with banks that said no for a certain price point. Maybe you got the bank to take $50,000 less, but I've been strong enough to get them to take $75,000 less. Do you see how working with me is going to help you in the long run? Which works better for you, for me to talk to you during the week, or should we make an appointment for the weekend? Which is better for you? And so you always want people to have an alternative of choice. You don't want to just say, listen, I can be at your house tomorrow at 3 o'clock because I'm such a busy person. My schedule is so tight. I've got 1 million people that want to speak to me, and so I want to fit you in. Well, if you make me feel like I'm not important to you, then why do I need to work with you? So you always want your sellers to feel like they're important. Again, imagine having a heart attack and your doctor says, oh, I can't see you right now, I'm watching a game, or, I'm so important, I've got 50 million surgeries, yours doesn't count. Like, you don't want your sellers to have that kind of feeling. So number one, practice your 30-second commercial for whatever business. If you're an investor, hi, I'm a very successful investor in whatever area, in the Maryland area, in the New York area, in the Atlanta area, and I'm strong because I close more deals, and I usually get the sellers more money than other investors do, because I just don't focus on only the price point. There's a lot that goes into working with me. And number one, I'm going to make sure that I close your deal faster, put more money in your pocket, because I really do have a strong network of investors that I work with that don't work with everybody else. Can you see that working with me is going to get your deal closed faster? Which works better for you? Getting your deal, if I can show you that I can get you the money that you want, are you open, Or are you ready to get started with me today? Are you ready to sign the offer to purchase today? And sometimes they'll say, well, yeah, I want to sign in, but I have to talk it over with my wife. These are the things you want to find out before you talk to sellers. Is there anybody else that makes a decision in the selling of this property? If I like what I see and I want to offer you, what you're asking for today, or I want to offer you something that's going to close and get you out of this situation urgently, are you open to, is there anybody else that has to make a decision? Are you open to closing right away? Again, these are the things you want to practice. And then always practice speaking less, listening more, and listening so you can respond, not react. And even if they said to you, oh, I think all real estate investors are scam artists, you guys just want all the money for yourself, you want to just take my house from me, you don't fight those people, you don't battle with them, you don't, go back and forth with them, because you're really trying to build rapport. When somebody says something like that to me, I say, well, can I ask what makes you feel that way? Or why do you say that? And sometimes they say, well, somebody else told me that. Well, if you've never had that experience, why would you, take somebody else's opinion? If I could show you that investors are stronger at driving the market than even real estate agents are you open to speaking with me for 30 minutes so I can show you that investors are the ones that are really driving the prices of the market? Because there's areas where investors have changed. I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, I was buying houses for $14,000 that is now the Beltline. And now those areas, you can't find a house under $100,000. You got to search hard and long to find something $60,000, $70,000. So that happened because of investors, not because of your traditional listings. So you want to tell this to your people. Don't take it personal. How dare you say it's a scam? Or they say something like, well, you know what, other real estate people are taking 1%. I don't see why I got to pay you 3%. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Motivated Seller, what is your favorite, let's say, if you were having a medical issue, do you know anybody that's ever suffered from cancer? And they'd say, yeah. Say, well, do you think that person who's in a situation where their health is so important is looking for a discounted doctor? Or are they going to put out the most money possible? And can I share this with you? You're not actually paying me the 6% that I'm putting on this price point. The buyer is paying it. And so if I can get a buyer to pay the price of your home and pay my commission, do you see why it's better to work with me than somebody who's going to sell your house at a discounted commission price? Because more than likely they're going to ask you to take less money for your property. Does that make sense? And then you let them answer. The other thing you want to master when you're doing your close is to listen for what kind of personality you're talking to. Some people are very auditory. Like Shannon is kind of auditory. She's a little emotional, but she's auditory. She's very analytical. That's why she's a strong closer. Anthony is a little more emotional. However, it's got to make sense to him before he moves forward. So a person that's emotional is a kinesthetic person. I'm very visual. I'm always talking fast. My hands are moving. And I've got a lot of things going on. 90% of successful people are visual. So you gotta talk to them in their own language. So you gotta, if I were talking to somebody that's auditory, now some people here, like a person that's put a lot up here, he's emotional and he's kind of auditory. So it sounds good and then he moves forward, but he's very emotional. when you're talking to somebody, listen. An auditory person, when they're talking to you, they talk like this. Their ear is leaning forward, because if it doesn't make sense in their ear, and they're going to interrupt you to say, no, 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 I need to hear that again. It has to make sense to me. I gotta, because they, like, one of the things that's telltailing about the person, they'll say something like, okay, I'm going to say it your way, but then it's got to make sense to me so I could say it my way. So again, they're leading with what they hear. And then there's some people that are very emotional. They lead with, I'm not feeling it, or that doesn't feel good to me, or oh my God, that just, their emotion, they use emotional words, and they're kind of touchy. So when they meet you, they want to hug, they want to touch. And you've got to understand that even when you're talking to people on the phone, learn to pick up on the personality type that quickly. The faster you can, the better. And as I mentioned before, people that are very visual are people that are moving fast. They got a lot going on. Hey, Leroy. They got a lot going on, so they use words like, no, that doesn't, I gotta see that, until I see it, it doesn't make sense to me. That's not clear to me. They use very visual words. So when you're speaking to them, you can say to a seller, let's say if I were talking to a visual person, I would say something like, okay, I'm not sure if you're aware that people in your area are actually selling their homes. Yes, very good. So they'll say you can say something like, let's say Leroy was visual. Then I'd say something like, Leroy, are you aware that people in your area are selling their homes for $10,000 less than they were a few months ago? Or were you aware that the houses that are selling for $150,000 are actually homes that are 3 bedrooms, 2 baths? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a visual word. Or is that really clear? Or now if I were talking to somebody kinesthetic, I'd say, were you aware that people in the area are looking more for an open floor plan, and your house is kind of broken into, smaller, closed-in rooms, everything. Like, more people want an open space. They want to see the living room from the kitchen and the dining room. Are you feeling what I'm saying? So that's a kinesthetic or an emotional person. But if the person were auditory, then I would say the same thing, and then I'd say, does that sound right to you? Are you aware of what, that's what's happening right now? And notice the faces that I'm making. I'm not talking to them, you kind of, like, when you're asking for stuff you want them to do, you kind of change the energy. You don't sound like, oh, I'm begging you, or like, you better do what I say, but you're speaking to them with emotion. And I encourage you to practice that this week. So here's your assignment until next Tuesday. If you're an investor, I want you to listen to the dialogue that we shared tonight and write it down on index cards, so that when you're speaking to your motivated sellers, Leroy, some of you guys are on the Yellow Letter Mentoring Program, and you're doing your marketing campaign and you're getting responses. Whether you're doing postcards or the yellow letter, you're getting responses. So write these scripts down and say them word for word the way I said it tonight, and practice it word for word. It is worth watching the video over and over, replaying it, so you can get the dialogue. Write it on an index card. You can go to the dollar store and invest in index cards. Write the scripts and put a title on the scripts. If I could, would you? If I can do this, will you do that? Write it on top. And then when you're speaking to your sellers on the phone, have the scripts with you and then repeat it. If you want to take a deeper dive, go over to the Yellow Letter Mentoring website and choose. We have 3 different levels of learning the scripts. You can just buy the script book, which has every script, and when we write more scripts, they'll be emailed to you. Or you can just buy the book. And we're about to put the book on Amazon, and when we put it on Amazon, it's not going to have the same opportunities of you being able to either get the book and then do the role playing with me and you, so that you can learn what I know one-on-one, or B or C is your other option, where you get the book and then you get a video of the month where I share dialogues, scripts, and mindsets that I don't have time to do on an open format like this, okay? So you want to think about that. And so write the scripts down, practice them on people. Make sure on that index card you also write your 30-second commercial, and then time yourself. If you're married, practice your scripts on your husband. Shannon, Anthony, and DJ Johnny Handsome will tell you when they were babies, I practiced my scripts on them. And, you know, they appreciate it because the scripts help them. Even DJ Johnny, as a DJ, this dialogue and the training he got from real estate helps him in his business career as one of the top DJs in New York. So this works for every arena. Practice your scripts. Listen twice as much as you talk to your sellers. And then I gave you 10 things. I also talked to you about the types of changes you need to make, the kind of, 4 types of change. Change that happens to you, change that happens around you, change that happens within you, and change that you make happen. I want you to become the person that focuses on the two last ones. The one, a person who has a really codependent spirit, or low self-esteem, or a wounded spirit, they believe everything happens to them, or somebody's doing this to them, or they believe everything happens around them. But a real leader, a person that's a go-getter, that's going to be a top producer, they believe the change has to happen within themselves, and then they believe that they can make the changes in their atmosphere. And then you want to become a person that, you don't just watch change happen around you or let things happen around you, but you make the changes that are necessary so you can do all you want to do. And I also mentioned that you can go over to the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page. If you have the workbook, you got this in color, but you can download it on the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page, which is I Am a Successful Investor. Daily affirmations. If you're an agent, say I'm a successful real estate agent. And then we talked about last week about your marketing quadrant. If you are in the Yellow Letter Mentoring program, we've added more to the quadrant, and you'll get it in the program. However, we're focusing on the stuff that gives you quick money. And the stuff that gives you quick money is driving for dollars, door knocking, peaking people whenever you're around people. So even at the supermarket, if you go to an event, if you go to the movies and you're sitting next to somebody, you can talk about the movie and then try to pique them about real estate. Oh my God, I'm here watching the Avengers, and I'm glad that I can get to do this, because as a real estate investor, I just really pretty much create my own schedule. That's how you pique interest. You start the conversation about real estate, and then you see who wants to get involved in what you're doing. Then there's also calls for cash. You get the phone numbers, the for sale by owners, the expired listings, the cash buyers or people that are on Craigslist that promote properties, and you just make phone calls. That's called calls for cash. You also talk to lenders and real estate people, and you see if they can help you find real estate deals. Or you talk to other wholesalers and see if they have deals that you can, that are price pointed enough, or you may have an investor that wants the deal that you may have access to through a realtor, a lender, or other wholesalers. And then you want to build your unpaid workforce. Who in your family, who are your friends that will go out and promote you to the people they know? I say the same thing when you guys are doing all the hearts and all of that. You're promoting me to your circle of people that follow you. The thing is, if your people don't follow me, they still won't see everything, because this page you're looking at is a private page. I only want to work with the people that see value in what I'm offering, and we'll make it public at a later date. But right now there's a core group of people that I'm working with. So you want to build your unpaid sales force. Who do you know? Family, friends, associate, people, you know, that you meet at the supermarket, at the cleaners, the shoemaker. I went to the shoemaker just this past week, and I took a pair of my Gucci shoes and I made him change the heel on it. And while I was there, I talked to him about real estate. So, you know, and I told him, I can bring you a lot of business if you refer people to me. And we had a really great conversation. And as people walked in, while I was waiting for him to change my shoes, he was telling them, oh, she's in real estate. You know, and so it started the conversation. Build relationships with people like that. And so with that being said, I hope you got something out of today's training. I hope you're going to try the scripts and dialogues. And between now and next week, not only write down the scripts and dialogues I gave you, say them verbatim, and then they'll come out of you at a presentation to either get an investor to work with you, or a motivated seller to work with you, or to get the listing. They'll come out of you. But also leave a couple of index cards and start writing down some scripts for yourself. And if you're on the program, ask me if the scripts work, you know, make sense, and I'll be happy to answer you. For everybody else, you can like the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page. We normally take the videos off my page, break it down, and leave it on that page, and then you can watch them over and over and over. And also, if you find me a mentor that you feel can stretch you to the next level, or that I have enough experience to help you, then go over to the Yellow Letter Mentoring website and choose a program that works with you. I always encourage people. Again, the prices are only there for the scripts book, but if you want to get on the Yellow Letter Mentoring program, we have to have a conversation to see if we're a good fit, because everybody in the program right now is a go-getter. They're out there doing what they got to do because they have a bigger vision for their life, and they see real estate investing as a way to get them to the next level. If that sounds like who you are, I'd be so excited to work with you. And if not, then please find a mentor that you feel is going to help take you to the next level, and then get busy. Put your head down, do the work, and take you and your family to the next level. There's nothing greater than seeing your kids have their own kids and they say, you know, Ma, I'm so excited that you got into real estate. Because of you being in real estate, our lives have been changed, and some of our friends' lives have been changed. I hope you hear that one day. With that being said, I'm Wendy Lovejoy of the YellowLetterMentoring.com, and I thank you for sharing this evening with me. I hope you got something out of the content that we shared. If you do the work, you'll get the paycheck. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.